Right, so we'll get started, and obviously Jack doesn't have to wait very long before you rip him apart, because he is actually number one pick in this one.
Have you got your other viewer thing? Because I can't see who's got what on this. Is this league finished, Johnny?
Yes.
Can
Do
we
you
run
want the
through it in the
spreadsheet?
first week games, and we can run through the 6 first week games, just so as I can see the team lined up properly, as opposed to all over the place like this, because I can't make out who's done what. But if we go through them on the league bit, I can see the actual teams. Yeah, there we go. If we do it this way and just check week ones, and we'll go down each of the teams this way, and we'll see what they've done. Just have a quick look at each game,
Uh-huh.
and
I
that'll
can
let
do
us
that.
see each team. So
Yeah, because
here
I've
we go.
sorted the
We've got
fixed
Anacott Citizens.
citizen
So who's
against the
this?
Glasgow Eagles.
Anacott Citizens and Glasgow Eagles. So we've got Graham here.
Yeah.
And let's see what we've got here. So what's Ancoat Citizens done? So Alan, White, Walker, Nakua,
Bell,
Dell, Rome,
J.
Ferguson, Pollard, Shakir. And I
Keane.
mean, these, the starting lineups all should look quite decent,
Yeah,
But
you
let's see
should do.
what's on the bench more to the point. So what we've got:
You
Stafford,
got
Sanders, Corley, McCaffrey, Sutton. I
Sutton.
like Sutton. I like the chance of Sutton getting a game, and coming in. But yeah, I mean, I like the fact that there's only one quarterback on the bench. That's always a good sign to me
Yeah.
that the team has been drafted well. So, you know, but
He's only got two
see with
defensive
Shad
players.
Bateman,
So,
and he's pretty much in all the league. He is getting drafted, Bateman. He's getting drafted in pretty much every league.
yeah.
He's one of these guys who he was supposed to be brilliant, and he's just not shown it yet, has he? So
No.
I'm way off him this year. I'm not going near him, but there's a good, he was a first round draft pick, and they seem to be persevering with him, Baltimore. So it could, this might be a year that he comes good.
Yeah, but they say that
Outside
every.
of that, I'm scared. I'm kind of scared of that bench a little bit. Sutton decent, yeah, he can come in and play. Who's this Parkinson, by the way? This is a name that's just been popping up to
The,
me
Ra-
now.
the
The
Rams the
last
Rams signed him in the off season. I think they signed him to a 2 or 3 year contract, so he got paid a couple. Well, he got paid to play. So, but
So
they've
he's
still
been
got
paid as well, yeah.
Higby as well. So
I've got to
yeah,
say I don't know that much about Parkinson, so I'm a bit blind. I'm not, I don't know much about him at the moment, so I'm going to have to look up to him. I like that there's no defenders on the bench there as well, so I like what Ancot Citizens has done in terms of the team that's been the way he's put the team together. I'm
yeah,
just, Davies I think might be a bit of a. He'll have a week or two maybe. Sanders is a dodgy one, and Carolina again. He should get touches, but what's he going to do with them really? So that bench looks a wee bit weak to me. Whereas if we look at Graham's bench over here, we've got Rodgers on the
yeah.
bench.
You've got the cheat code of Taysom Hill.
You've like Taysom Hill's one of those ones, and it could do anything, it could do nothing. Rodgers, stick a quarterback on the bench. I've not got a problem with one. Dylan, Dylan is not going to disappear, Johnny. Dylan's going to be fine this year. Dylan will score points. Dylan will get touches, and especially now Lloyd looks completely knackered. I mean, he looks done.
Does he? I've not heard anything. What happened?
Yeah, I think it's hamstring, but it's they're
Oh
saying it's
boy.
pretty bad. They're saying he might be missing the start of the season, a good kind of month or so of it. So
Well, that'll help
yeah, I
Dylan.
think
That's why
Dylan's going to
everybody's
do
picking up
just
Dylan
fine.
now. I know.
Dowdle as well.
And you got
Dowdle will get his touches. I know, Elliott's there, and I like Elliott, and I think he's going to have a better season. But Dowdle's going to get his touches too. Thiel's an old man. Dontavian Wicks,
Wicks.
my feelings behind him. I really like
Yeah.
Dontavian Wicks. You know, Cornwall, he's he's very playable. Watts on the bench. Who's in his defensive? Watts on his bench?
Nick Bolton and TJ Edwards. So
Yeah, I picked up TJ Edwards. I have to say, I took him. I got him very late, which I was very happy with. So yeah, I mean, both these teams are looking certainly nothing silly on them. I much prefer the look at Glasgow Eagles. I have to say, I think it looks a stronger team because the bench looks stronger.
very true.
But
Then we go to the Water.
nothing disastrous there.
No,
But here
it's a
comes
it's a
Calvin
close one.
Cooley.
Yeah, they were the
This,
high,
of
the
course,
Rotten Warriors as well. They were good.
this is the top division. This is Division One, so you are
Yeah,
expecting to see goodness here. I love the running back for Carroll, the running back room for Carrollton Crew there, Williams and Cook there too. I think they'll score really well this year.
he's got your man
Lamb,
Jefferson.
Jefferson, London, Kirk, Allen, Johnson. You know, the start lineups are all going to be decent. Komet, I'm big
Yeah,
on. I think he'll do okay this year. McBride, obviously, is going to be a big one. And I'm getting so much hotter on Brock Bowers. See, every day that goes past, I'm getting bigger and bigger on Brock Bowers. And I get the feeling it might bite me in the ass come the come the season starting, you know. And they've still got Michael Mayer there as well, and let's not forget he was an early pick last year. Was he not a first round draft pick last year too?
who's that? I
Mayer,
missed who did? Yeah, he was
wait,
yeah, he was. But then he's a more of a
he was
blocker
first
than
round
a
pick as
catcher.
well.
Yeah,
So you know that's my problem with Bowles. But the noise that's coming out of there is that he's going to be getting the ball a lot. They're going to find a way to get him the ball. So I really like
his
Bowles this year,
highlights were
and
awesome.
Ingram as
Like
well.
he was running over people in college.
I
They
like
were
the
Jack's
whole
got a
loading up
question.
the Lamb Dak holdout. For me, Jackson, that is it puts me off Lamb massively. I mean, I won't draft Lamb where he's going anyway because I would rather have Jefferson, I would rather have Hill, I would rather have Chase. So I ain't getting Lamb anywhere. But and this is the holdout is why when you have that holdout, even he'll be playing for the Dallas Cowboys this year, Lamb, but he's going to be coming into the season cold because he's sitting out. And
Yeah,
when you get these sit outs, the guy that always takes him a few weeks to get going and stuff. So yeah, I'm not going to have Lamb anywhere. I don't think Lamb's a bad player. I think Lamb's an absolutely fantastic player. I think he's one of the best receivers in the game. I just think he's in for a wee bit of a slow start this year, and I'm not interested in drafting him in the first round anywhere. What about
yeah.
you, Johnny?
Well, well, obviously I got him early on in a few leagues, but yeah, obviously I try not to draft him. The fact he's a Dallas player anyway. Like, but I prefer Amon Ra, Hill, and Chase and Jefferson over him
Yeah,
because he had a
pretty
good
much
year
where I'm
last year.
sitting.
But you're relying on Dak, and Dak is Dak. He will get the points, but
That's the thing.
like
That's a
I said before, I picked Bell in my league, but I only picked Bell because Amon Ra got picked before me because I was looking to get him in the 107.
yeah.
And I think Chase came after that. I would have picked Amon Ra because he gets the targets and he's a battler. But it didn't
Absolutely,
work out for
absolutely.
me.
I mean, I would this season, this year with this situation, I would take Amon Ra over CD as well as the situation is at the moment. I'd probably take Bijan Robinson over him as well, and I'd probably take Brees Hall over him as well. So you know, so I'm not getting Lamb this year anywhere, but I do think that he's top class receiver and he will do and especially coming to the back end of the season, that's when, you know, and that's when it's you're getting to playoff time, you're getting to championship time. So yeah, I think he'll do just fine. I'm not putting anyone off. I wouldn't try and put anyone off drafting him. I'm just saying he's not for me this year because of where he's been drafted.
Cool. And if we go back to the teams, the Carlton Crew don't have a kicker, and you only picked one
You don't.
defender.
You know me. I do that all the time as well, Johnny. I have drafted my kicker this year in the last round there, just
It's
because
not a
it's
bad one to
getting
get though.
closer
But
to
yeah,
I've got so many teams now that I'll forget to come back and get the kicker from someone. So I'm just picking up my kicker now. But I've got no issue with the no kicker and get an extra player on your bench that you can drop for the kicker, you know, before kickoff. I'm a big fan of that move. And it gives you
well,
those more options in your bench in case someone picks up an injury or something in pre-season, you know.
he's got Hopkins. Is
Who's
he
that?
not? Is he on the pup?
Who's that?
Yeah, Hopkins. So if he's out, you could chuck him in his IR. That'll free up a space. Well, yeah, he's got Ertz,
Yeah,
Shaheed, Williams, Cooks, Hopkins, Elliott, McLaughlin, and Herbert.
see, that's a good bet. I
Oh,
mean, on that bench there, you could play Elliott most weeks. Obviously, Hopkins is very playable. Cooks is very playable. Mike Williams I mean, if Rodgers is even 80% of the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers, Mike Williams will have a big year if he stays fit. Shaheed is going to have his big weeks, he always does. He's the bomber. He goes long. He's going to be picking up long touchdowns, so he will score his weeks, but he will also have weeks where he does absolutely nothing. So it's a balancing act.
It is a
So
bit.
yeah, I mean, I like what Carlton Crew's done because when I look on the bench, I think you can plug any of those players in any given week and be happy that they're in the starting lineup. When you've got
Yeah,
problems. So I like the depth in Carlton Crew there, and I'm looking at the other side as well. I mean, Reece Sama is. I've picked him up in a couple of dynasties just to chuck him on the taxi. You never know, but I
I've
get
done
the
that. I've
feeling
got him in
that's
a
going to
few
be a
best
wasted
balls in the
pick.
last round. But
Yeah,
hi,
I
oh,
mean,
there's
yeah,
your
that kind of thing.
hi, Derek.
Evening, Derek. Yeah, as it's Reece Sammet, just not for me. If he does anything, get him out of agency. But I think it's a waste of a bench space having him sitting there. I mean, Dobbins,
Three
Gibson,
rookies.
both be plugged in any time. Polk can be plugged in. Sanders, he's going to be the number one tight end there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
You
But
know,
she's going
and,
to be a
and you
good
get your
blanket for Hall. Real young.
and
And I
get a
like
defender on
McMillan.
the
He's
bench.
been pretty good too. So, but then your pals in the
Yeah,
slots,
I
I don't know
mean,
if McMillan will go. So
You
he's
know,
stacking the
that's
bench.
the thing about the rookie ones as well. Any one of them could be anything, and any one of them could be really good, and any one of them could be, you've got when you go away from kind of first round, second round wide receiver picks that are going to be starting, that are going to get the ball. You got your likes, he'll do okay there. The other one that I'm looking at, I mean, Corley at the Jets could do okay there, but it's big could. The other one I'm quite liking at the moment is the boy that went to the Bengals. Is it Burton,
Oh,
Jeremy Burton or
Burton.
something?
Jermaine
Burton,
Burton.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
93
quite
yards, I
liking.
think he got at the weekend. So,
And he's got a he's got a thrown quarterback there as well, and one of the best thrown quarterbacks. So I'm happy to pick him up, type thing. But
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I'm looking at these teams and both look very good. Again, it's the first division, so it's difficult to pick holes in something here.
No, they both get what they're doing. So
But yeah, as I say, Lamb is one of those ones for me that Lamb being in Waterorton Warriors team will be putting me off picking that team as my favourite to win. So this division, but so far I'm preferring Carlton Crew over the other three that I've looked at. So let's see another couple of teams.
we've got our defending champion, the Dublin Everton Blues, against the Leeds Blasters, who won this. He was in my division last year. So Danny starts off with Jackson, Henry, Stevenson, Hill, Pittman, DJ Moore, Dallas Goddard, Christian Watson, Folk, Wagner, and Al-Shire. With his
And
main, that's a
Alshire is
pretty
one
good
that
one.
I'll put into my team as well. I see absolutely nothing wrong with that starting lineup at all. So take me up for the other starting lineup as well, Johnny. Let me see both.
Then you've
So I
got
have a problem with
Richardson.
a couple. It's not that I've got a problem with. I love the start of that. Richardson, Hall, A-Chain. A-Chain is one of those ones. He's going early enough, but I love him. I think he could be the best running back in the NFL if he wasn't so slight and if he can stay fit. My issue with him is staying fit. So
Yeah,
that's a problem for me in the sense that if he doesn't stay fit, then you've got Harrison, who I think is a brilliant receiver, but I'm not so fully in this early.
I
Samuel
like
Waddle,
Debo.
fine. The Muth has stung me far too many times. But Rashid Rice, he will be suspended. Something has to be said before the season kicks off on Rashid Rice. He has 8 felony charges currently hanging over his head, and the NFL cannot just let him play week one without saying something about it.
And
So there
Addison could
has
be
to be news.
suspended too. So you might lose both of
Who
them
could-
at some
Oh,
point this
Addison,
season.
yeah,
Jordan
Addison's
Addison.
definitely
Yeah.
got suspension coming because he's got a DUI. But his might be a
Mhm.
bit later on. You can get away with a DUI in playing.
And he's got Lloyd.
Wilson and
Oh,
Luvu is a good defensive. That's sneaky good there as well because they are both big tacklers. And they were far enough down. Both were on my queue, but neither are in my team. And then you've got Lloyd there who picked up the injury. Bucky Irvin. That's a lot of rookie running backs here for me. You're going to have, one of them's going to need to kind of hit.
He's got a lot of running backs. He's got Hubbard, Ford. It's all running backs apart from Thomas and Samuel.
So
he's picked up a lot of running backs at the end here.
I'm loving the fact that there's no quarterback on the bench, so I'm loving the fact that there's no defender on the bench because you can pick them up in agency that are scoring well. Deshaun Watson, picking Deshaun Watson for me this season. I mean, last year he just looked so disinterested. It's like he didn't want to be there, didn't want to be playing. He is there for the money. He has to be better. If he doesn't start well this year, then he's a bust. He has to be a bust. He's done. I personally think he's a bust. I think he's done. I think he's finished.
I
So
just
I'm not a fan
picked
of
up
that. But
Jameis
on the bench,
Winston I just picked up Jameis Winston in the last round of an auto baseball with Thomas Strachan because obviously
I
he's the
don't blame
backup.
you. Yeah, I don't blame you because I can see him coming in. My issue there is it going to be Winston? Is it going to be Huntley? Because Huntley's not terrible. I mean, he done well
I
at Baltimore
I
when
forgot he was
Jackson was
there.
out.
Yeah, I
And
know.
he's
Well, I
there as
wanted
well,
Joe
you know. So
Flacco, but I got sniped before it. So, yeah.
Darvin Mims as well.
Well,
Mims, what a name that was last year, wasn't it? In everybody's
well,
team. And
he was good
he
for
was
about 3 weeks.
0 points, 0 points, 0 points. It
Minus
wasn't even
points,
like one
minus
point, two
points.
point. It was all zeros. Did he
It was
not
a
even
couple
go
of minus.
minus a couple of weeks?
He had 3 minuses, I think, last year, but then he had 3 games of getting 20 points when he scored like massive touchdowns. And for the rest, it was usually one or two. But yeah, it's a different system. You
There's
might get more of the ball. So
your boy Myers in
Douglas,
there
he
as well.
seemed
You still,
injured.
but
Yeah.
are you big on him this year again, Johnny Myers? As I know he was one of your
No,
favourites.
not really. Hi, Everett. How's it going?
Hello,
Hey,
hello,
there's Everett.
hello. Sorry for my tardiness.
Oh,
That's
that's
quite
no
all right.
bother. Craig was late too. You're okay.
I was I was about to say good evening, Everett, but it's afternoon at where you are, isn't it?
Well, it's evening now. It's evening now. It'll pass
Evening.
for evening.
We're still in the
Fantastic.
first
We're
division,
just run,
Martin.
we're just running through the first division in the East, Everett. That's where we're at. So we're taking a wee look at these teams just through the team, so as we can see them lined up properly, So and
Yeah.
Pop Douglas, I was so big on him last year, and he done quite well for me last year. But he's not getting mentioned at all this year. He's going nowhere. I like Pop Douglas. I just don't know why there's not kind
Was he
of
not?
more
He's
chat
under the
about
radar
him,
again. He's under the radar again.
He
isn't
was
he?
injured for a couple of weeks as well, though. Was he not? So
I mean,
I
yeah,
think he's
he's had
okay
a
now,
couple of
but he
injuries,
was
but I
injured.
think he's fit now and he's flying under the radar. So I like that pick. I think that's a great pick. I think run me up to the top again, Johnny. I see who these teams are again.
Hey, Brian Thomas Jr. is he's gonna be one to keep an eye out on the Jaguars.
Yeah.
Do you like him? Do you, Everett? Is he on your radar? Is he?
If I can get him, but he's already taken by everyone. Somebody already snagged him in like every league I'm in.
Going earlier than you're willing to pull the trigger on him. That happens a lot, doesn't it? I mean, he's one of
Yeah.
those ones I honestly don't know that much about him either. And he's because for some reason I just don't pay much attention to the Jaguars and what they're doing. I don't know why, but
Because they're boring.
I see regression for them this year, and that's my problem with them in the sense that I'm not a fan of anybody on that offense this year. But yeah, I like Dublin Everton Blues here because I think they're the bench. I love what's on the bench, and I just think Leeds Lasso's went a bit haywire with the rookie running backs there on the bench, and get the feeling none of it.
Yeah.
If none of them strike, then you've wasted a lot of bench spots, and
Well,
you've
they
got a
have.
couple
They've
of
got a
guys
lot of
in
running
there who
backs.
are going to be suspended this year, in Rice and Addison. So you do need, when you've got these guys, you need the bench. But there, Brian Thomas will come in for one of them.
I
They've
think
also cut the summer down a lot
Rice and
of
Addison might get
receivers.
lucky because Addison they haven't had a court date, and it might not be till after the season. And they say Rashee Rice will be ready by season opener, so I think they're pushing his court date back too. So I
I
like
think
we
his
said,
court date's been booked back to
I think it'd be like
October, November for Rashid Rice.
yes. So you're looking at it'll be next year before he's if anything
No
happens.
chance. Nah, I can't see that, Everett. And here's why. Rashid Rice has 8 felony charges hanging over his head. He was racing and smashed his car. There people got injured, people got hurt in that. And the NFL, the way the NFL is, they cannot have him running out there week one saying nothing, that like everything's fine. Let's not forget that that's not the only thing he done. He was also done for assaulting someone in a nightclub, and I know that one went away because the guy never pressed charges and stuff, but it's
Yeah,
still
that one
there,
got
and the
dropped.
NFL
Yeah.
can still but the NFL can still punish him for it, and he's got 8 felony charges. He cannot run out there week one and the NFL say nothing. So something has to be said before week one on Rashid Rice. It just has to be. And I cannot see him not being suspended this year. Addison, I agree, it could be pushed into next year. It's only a DUI. They all get DUIs at some point or another. So I can see that one being pushed, but Rice will miss time this year. I just can't see how he doesn't. He has to, because I think before the season starts, Kansas City Chiefs are going to make him plead guilty and take his punishment and move on, because they'll want to move on from it. But we'll see. I mean, if Rice and Addison play the whole season, then that's a cracking team. I just don't think they will.
Definitely.
So I'm still on Carlton Cruz, my favourite at the moment.
Did you look at the sheet I sent you, Everett? You've got a couple of better view.
Yeah,
We've only gone through 6 teams so far, so we're on to Manchester Bees and the Leicester Tigers.
I studied the sheet all night and I looked at it this morning. So I really, I think I got my picks. I got my picks ready. Some of these teams are
Miss time this year. It won't be. How can it be next year? He's got 8 felony charges hanging over him. The NFL don't like that. It will be this year. He will be suspended this year, and his court case is due to be held in October. If his court case in October, that's a problem for the Kansas City Chiefs because they're playing in October, so they're going to want that sorted out beforehand. I think they're going to force him to plead guilty before then. So we'll see.
I wouldn't be surprised if the court case gets pushed back till after the season.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, it might get pushed
back. They're quite good at doing that in America, especially when it comes
especially when it comes to athletes and celebrities.
In fairness, they're pretty good at doing that in the UK as well. But again, yeah. So obviously, what are you thinking of this one?
Let's see. So we've got Manchester Bees and Leicester Tigers here. So let's not forget that Deshaun Watson gets suspended long before anything went to court. Let's not forget that. So we're neighbours. Neighbours is so. Do you know what? I've actually picked Neighbours up somewhere. I can't remember where it was now, but I actually did pick them up because I'm just everything that's been said has been nothing but good things being said, and there's nobody else really there. Johnny, is there?
No, I mean Wendell Robinson.
Oh, Slayton's still there. He does seem to like Jones like throwing to Slayton. Obviously, I do quite like the look of Theo Johnson at the tight end, but yeah, there's not high. It would be good for the odds. High, it would be good for best ball, but not really good for a redraft. They'll have good games.
The one on the right here's got Hollywood, so there's problem number one. Hollywood's out.
Yeah.
He's also,
what, 6 weeks?
Kendry Miller in his starting lineup.
Yeah, that's a problem too. Yeah, let's see what's on the bench though, because the bench might be a bit better.
Well, sometimes people haven't set. They haven't set. He hasn't set his lineups yet. Apparently, they just
Jonathan Taylor on the bench. He's got 3 quarterbacks
down there.
And Kyler Murray on the bench.
And Levis.
Who's the quarterback? Who's the starting quarterback, Johnny?
That's the one with Mahomes.
Oh, wow.
He's got Mahomes, Murray and Levis.
Mahomes and Murray. You've got Patrick Mahomes and you've got Kyler Murray, 2 of the best quarterbacks in the game. Where is I don't get the thought process of I better pick up Will Levis. I don't get that thought process. I just don't understand why Will Levis is there. But
you think he's got
complete waste of a bench spot.
You got Hollywood Brown will be out, and then you've got Josh Downs will be out as well. Josh Downs got to be.
Josh Downs is out right now.
Yeah, so
that's what. He's got Evans in the flex, Cooper in the flex. He's okay. So,
I mean, he's got there's receivers there, but Hollywood's out, and there's 3 quarterbacks. Kendrick Miller's. I mean, he's just going to be he's a bust, isn't he? Is he even going to see the field? He's that bad. I mean, the chat coming out of New Orleans is that he's an absolute bust. Anyway.
Yeah, but Port likes him.
I like Jaden Daniels on the bench. That is a good quarterback to have on your bench because he's one that you could throw in there at the back end. He's going to be using his legs a lot, and he could be a championship winner for you. Who's the quarterback? Who's the starting quarterback? Johnny, sorry, take me up there.
Trevor Lawrence.
You know how much I hate Diggs. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Lawrence either. I think Daniels will be in long before. I mean, Lawrence will do fine. Lawrence will be fine. And then you've got Rashad Johnson, who I think will get plenty of touches because I couldn't be colder on Swift.
And you
Most
got
start will get his
Mostert,
touches. Brown,
Chase Brown.
Franklin could be anything. Could be fake.
And Tampa.
Mooney
Hey,
and
Mooney's gonna be a sleeper pick because Rondell Moore is out for the season.
in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Well, I do
I mean,
have him in many places, so hopefully. So
I've picked him up in a few as well. I think Mooney's going to have a fine year this year, because London will be getting double teamed all the time as well. And Kirk Cousins is more than capable of getting the ball out there. And he does, I know that he had Jefferson in Minnesota, but Jefferson got all those touches, but there was still a little bit of meat on the bone for Adam Thielen when for Thielen. There was a bit of meat on the bone for Diggs when he was there. There was a bit of meat on the bone for Addison last year, so he does get the ball about Cousins. So I think Mooney will do fine this year. I think he'll have a better year than he's had in Chicago, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
So yeah, I like the left. I like the team on the left hand side here. I really do. I like Manchester Bees. It's very close to being I would pick Manchester Bees over the Carlton Crew if it wasn't for the fact that Lawrence is. I'm just not the biggest Lawrence fan. Zamir White, he should be getting a touch. But how good is he? So yeah, I, I I like Manchester Bees, but I'm still on Carlton Crew here.
and we're down to the EK Colts and Seattle Patriots. So you got
So
Stroud,
EK Colts.
Pacheco, Harris, Wilson, Smith, Reed, Kittle, A.D. Mitchell, Quentin Johnston, Dicker, Olukon, Okereke, then bench got
Well, I was
Purdy,
going to say
Corum,
there's.
Williams, Chubb. What are you going to say?
Well, I love the Chubb pickup because that's another one that could be a potential championship winner if you can keep yourself in it until he gets fit. Then he's coming straight in. Stroud has seen nothing but regression for him this year. That's not to say that he's not going to have a massive fantasy year. I think he will have a massive fantasy year. I just don't think he'll be as good as last year. Pacheco, Harris, love it, love it. Wilson, Smith, two cracking receivers. Who else is there? Reed, love that as
Jaden
well.
Reed.
I was absolutely loving that team until we got down to the last couple of spots on the starting, and then Quentin Johnston. I mean, it's just one of those ones, isn't it?
He can't even catch a
He might
cold,
make
right?
he might make me look foolish this year, but he looked awful last. And I mean, he did not even look like he looked like he was trying to play basketball on an NFL field for me. He just was not an NFL player at all. So I am very, very cold on Quentin Johnson. I've got to say, he might make me look foolish, but I'm very, very cold on him.
And the
And
Patriots have
that kind
got
of
two
that puts.
nice receivers
Yep.
for
So what we've got:
Patriots.
Tua, Barkley, Etienne, St. Brown, Pickens, Higgins. I love St. Brown, Pickens. That's a nice pair. Higgins, he'll do fine this year, but again, I don't. I see a little bit of regression for him, maybe just because of the contract situation and stuff. Pitt's absolutely fine. Will do absolutely fine. I like Montgomery. I'm not getting him because I'm
Oh,
not
so do
picking him
I.
up where he's going. I like others around him, but I think he'll do just fine. And if Gibbs gets hurt, then he's a bell cow. And if Gibbs doesn't get hurt, he's still going to get his touches.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah. Got Lad McConkey.
And then you've got Lad McConaughey there, who is he's coming in as a rookie into a position where he's potentially the number one receiver, much like Keon Coleman. I think that it's just got volume in itself will get him points.
Well, he's got Coleman as well on the bench.
There
The
you
Kirk
go,
Cousins,
Coleman
Jalen
sitting there
Red,
as well. Yeah, so that
Nice, nice.
I
And
like the
Judy.
rookies on the bench. They've got EK Colts have gone for Wilson and Pearsall, two rookie wide receivers as their
two
bench.
rookie wide receivers. Again, you're needing, and
And a
then you've
rookie
got
running
Snoop
back.
there as well. So Corum will be fine if Williams gets hurt, but if Kieran Williams is playing, I don't know how much Corum's going to get. But I'm picking him up when I've got Williams. I'm trying to pick him up later on as a cover. You know, that is one handcuff that I want. If I get Kieran Williams, I want Blake Corum.
So the other one's got
Yeah, I mean, I think
Coleman, Wright, Baker,
he's
all rookies.
he's going to need he's going to need one of those wide receivers to land. I think, you know, one of those wide receiver or not, one of those rookie ones to land. One of those are going to really need to land. Gibbs is not. Gibbs is starting.
Strain hamstring.
Yeah, exactly. It's that is a hurt, which really means we don't want to play him in the pre-season. So we'll give him a wee ouchie, but he'll be raring to go week one. There's not going to be any. I don't think there's any problem there.
You better fucking know me. He's my keeper and show me the money.
Thing is, for me, on the bench, you have to have players on the bench who you are happy to plug in any given week, and that's the strength on the bench makes such a difference. You know, like so we're going to need the team on the left here, who I can't remember who it is now, is the EK Colts. They
EK
are going to
Colts.
need one of these. You know, you've got Corum there, you've got Wilson, you've got Pearsall, you've got Sinot. Some of them are going to need to hit because they will be in the starting lineup at some point along the way. Jamal Williams, I mean, he's going to. I guess he's going to get his touches because the rookie boy's so bad. But yeah, not for me. I think he's done now. I think he's finished. It was poor last year, and I don't see him being any better this year. I have to say. And Purdy's just is a fine quarterback. You know, the thing is, I don't have a problem with people having one quarterback on their bench. I know that I don't do it, and it's not my way because I think that you can get them in the agency, but at least with Purdy, you know that you're going to get your kind of 15, 20 points. You know, if you're going to agency and having to take a swing with a Derek Carr or a Bryce Young, you know, you're risking that they do nothing because they can do nothing in games. Where do you guys
Correct.
stand on Wright, the running back at Miami?
Well, I've got him in quite a few places. Well, I've actually drafted him, so you know how I feel about him. So,
For me, he's
but
just
yeah, no, I like him because I think he will get a chance because none of them can stay healthy, and they do like
Yeah,
to run. And
I
he's
was
a
about to
fast
say that.
burger too. So
for me, it's all about health for him getting that. And you know, Mostert is, you know, has struggled with injury in the past, and A-Chain's just so lightweight that he's
agile.
going to pick up
So
something along the way, isn't he? But I love A-Chain.
I
I
know
really
it's
do.
pre-season, but he was running hard and running well at the weekend there. So
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, right, but he's another wee speed freak, isn't he? He's another one of those, like A-Chain, like Hill. I mean, they could be putting together a 4x400 relay team that could maybe
and you've
challenge
got
at the Olympics in
the wide
Miami,
receiver
you
as
know?
well. Was it Malik Washington? He was getting in everything at the weekend.
Yeah, yeah,
Running
he's
the ball,
nippy as
catching
well,
the
isn't he?
ball, kick return, punt return. Like, bloody hell. Yeah, you
But
finished it about.
again, the team on the right here as well. You've got Coleman, you've got Baker, you've got the who's the other rookie that he's got in his starting lineup?
He's got he's
Like
got
Lad
Lad
McConaughey.
McConkey, is
So
it?
again, right, you know, some of these guys are going to need to hit. I don't hate either of these teams. I think they've both done well. I can pick a hole in. You know, I don't like Quentin Johnson. I don't like one or two. But I don't think there's any disasters here. I think these two teams are sitting pretty
Well,
decent.
you got to think there's a good chance that Lad McConkey will be the number one.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you got to think they've got number one there, Higgins number two, Pickens one, Brown one. Reed could be
Yeah,
one,
I
two,
just
three, or four. Smith's number two, Wilson one, potential. Mitchell two, possibly three, depending on downs. Quentin Johnson, he'll be the water boy.
you
Then
know they say that. Do you know what my problem with Quinn Johnson as well is when Harbaugh was in,
might drop
or
that
I
though.
don't even think it was Harbaugh. I think it was the offensive coordinator or something, and they said they have plans to get Quentin Johnson involved. And the way he was making out, it's like, well, surely it wasn't. We're going to throw him the ball. We've got plans to get him involved. that doesn't tell me that you're planning to put him in, you know, as a starting receiver. That tells me that you're thinking, you know,
Special teams.
kickoff and stuff like that. You know, special teams, the new kickoff, which I actually didn't. I've not seen the new kickoff yet. I watched a bit of the Raiders Vikings game, but I missed the start, so I missed the kickoff. So I don't know how that's going to work yet, and that'll be very interesting. Players do get points for special teams, don't they, Johnny? So if,
Well, they
say,
get points
Quentin
for
Johnson
scoring a
was running
touchdown.
it,
I don't think they get points per yard. They've got points if they score a touchdown. I've not done the
if
yard
they
there.
scored, yeah, just for scoring.
So,
Yeah, I thought that.
but
So yeah,
like there was one, the Jet. No, it was who was it? The Jaguars nearly got all the way back. They got back up to the 25 return. That was a
right.
good return. The few,
I'm
but if you
interested to see
do
how
the
it works.
points per yard, then the kick return is very, very good because you have to kick it inside the 20 to the 10.
Yeah,
You can take a kneel and go to the 30. Yeah, it's really confusing. But a lot of them
if
will
it goes through
try and
the end
return it.
zone,
If you can
if
get
it goes
if
through
it
the end
goes
zone, you
through
go
the
back
end
to
or
the
it goes to the
40, don't
30.
you?
No, the
Is
30.
it
I
not the
think
40 for the?
if you bounce before the 20 or you bounce out of bounds, it goes to the 40. But if it bounces in the 20, you have to go for it. You can't thing me.
Yeah,
There's
it'll
that
make.
many. I can't understand it. But yeah, it
I'm
should be
looking
good.
forward to seeing how it works. But yeah, no issue with either of these teams, but neither of them are my favourite either. So let's see the last one here, Johnny.
It's Jack here. Oh, Jack's got an empty team. Very good here, Jack. He likes to do that to fuck about, like. But yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll go with Alaskan Deep Freeze first because obviously he's got a team there. You've got
So the
Jordan Love,
Alaskan deep
Bijan
freeze.
Robinson, Aaron Jones, Chris Olave, Brandon Ayuk, Nico Collins, Dalton Schultz, your pal Swift, Gus the Bus, Young Wuku, Aiden Hutchison, and Josh Hines Allen. When did he change to Hines Allen? I thought it was just Josh Allen.
It was. He changed his. I think he changed his. He added the Heinz part. I can't even remember. I
I
don't
remember
even know why.
Josh
There was a
Allen was
reason behind it.
intercepting Josh Allen.
I even read the reason behind it, but I can't remember it now. So
And
yeah,
then
I
the
mean
bench.
that starting lineup again. It was coming down, and I was loving it. I was loving it. I was loving it. And
Until
then you
there.
got to just take me back up again, Johnny, a little bit. Sorry.
Swift and Edwards.
Yeah, well, Swift and Edwards, yeah, but go up a wee bit further. I think there was one there. And Ayuk, Ayuk's just, I don't know where he's going to be playing. If he does move, if he does go to Pittsburgh, he's got a whole new offense to learn. It's the middle of August. He's going to start the season with a brand new offense that he doesn't know, with a playbook that he doesn't overly know. And do you know that way? I'm not as big a fan of Brandon Ayuk as everybody else seems to be. What has he really done that's been outstandingly brilliant that no other receiver could do type thing, And
Well, he
an
picked him
awful
up in the
lot can
third
be
round in the
drawn from him.
305.
He's just
Yeah.
he's not for me. He is absolutely not for me this year, Brandon Ayuk. I've got to say, and wherever he ends up, is he is he going to end up in Pittsburgh? That's kind of looking like it's going to happen again, isn't it? I thought he was going to be stuck in San Francisco, but
It looks like
I don't know. Who's going?
Pittsburgh put the package together. I guess they're just waiting for Ayuk to.
But I thought they wanted a receiver back. Who are they going to get on the way back? They're not
well,
going
if
to
they
get
send
Pickens.
Pickens, I'm going to be gutted because I'm so big on Pickens. But if he goes to San Francisco, I will not be. And again, the reason will be that he'll be going into San Francisco and a new team and a new playbook, everything new. At this point of the season, it's a lot to learn very early. And the 49ers are that's a kind of situational spot for me where they play to the system, not the player. So
Yeah.
Pickens going there would worry me for George Pickens. Oh, look,
Oh, Jack's
Jackson's on doing it as
putting
we
his team
speak.
in.
No,
There
no,
we
no,
go.
no, no. That doesn't count, pal. We're not talking about your team because your team wasn't there, so beat
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I love Olave. I'm out on Jones this year.
that'll be Everett.
So yeah, I'm not big on Jones at all this year. And the reason I'm not big on Jones this year is because
Which is
he
not
has
a
been
Green
in
Bay
the one
player.
team all his career. he's now getting on and he's changed his teams for the first time in his career. He's, 30 years old now. That's only regression time anyway. He regressed a little bit last year. And, these running backs, when they go to a new team, they've spent so long at one and then they go to a new one. And it's my worry for Josh Jacobs and it's my worry for Derrick Henry to a certain extent. They tend to just, the team's letting them go for a reason. If Aaron Jones was still the Aaron Jones of 3 years ago, Green Bay would not be letting them go. So that puts me off there. So the team on the right here, it's fine, it's decent, but I'm for Jones, for Ayuk, for the Swift and the Swift and Gus Edwards that
That's
are
the
in the
bust.
starting lineup, unless the bench is really, really strong.
Let's have a
That's
look.
not my
We've got Jared
favourite team.
Goff, Braylon Allen, Tyron Tracy, Tyler Algier, Wilson, Xavier Leggett, Wendell Robinson, Luke Musgrave.
So that'll be a big no then. I mean, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Musgrave,
It's an
you'll
okay
be able to
bench, but
plug
it's
in
not
any
great.
time. But Leggett,
Yeah,
it's going to
Wilson
be
will get.
situational, isn't it? Wandale Robinson, it's going to be situational. I actually like Michael Wilson this year. I do think he'll be the number 2 there. And I think he'll get plenty enough touches because Murray does spread that around as well and throws the ball a lot. And I think Wilson will get plenty enough. So yeah, it's not my
So
favourite team. I love Olave. I do love Olave. I just, again, it's his situation and car thrown to him, and it worries me for
he's
this year,
covering.
I have to say.
He's covering a lot of the bench because he's got Bijan Robinson and he's also got Tyler Algier.
Well, that's just
If
that's your
Bijan goes,
handcuffing
if
it.
Bijan goes down, he's got the backup. So,
Yeah,
well,
that's
let's
it
have a look at
exactly.
Jack's
And then,
team then.
right, let's see. So he's got Burrow, fine. McCaffrey, of
McCaffrey,
course, he's picking first, so he's got McCaffrey. Tajay Spears in the
Spears,
starting lineup's a bit worrying.
Adams,
Adams,
your pal Godwin.
I love this. Godwin, you know what I think of him.
Yeah, your pal. Mark Andrews, DK
Andrews,
Metcalf.
Metcalf, Dubs, all
He's got his
fine.
customary Packers player. No kicker.
Of course,
Raquan
you
Smith
have
and
to.
Terrell Bernard. Yeah, running
Then
backs a
what's on
bit.
the bench more at the point?
Trey
So
Benson,
Benson, I'm really not big
Tyler
on this year.
Lockett.
I guess if Connor goes down, Benson is going to come in, isn't he? But again,
Yeah.
I'm hearing nothing coming out of Arizona about Benson. I mean, he's listed below DeMarcado and Michael Carter on the depth chart. For a guy who was
Well,
picked the second running back off the board in the draft, to be behind 2 guys like that worries me
yeah, but
for
I
him.
think
It
they're
really does.
just
Tyler,
they're making him earn it. You know how they do that with some rookies? You chuck them in the bottom and say, right, you've got to earn your
I'm
spot.
not
Some of
convinced
them,
that's what's happening there. That's what you do with a first round quarterback from time to time, just to say, look, you're not there yet. That's not what you do for a running back that you picked in the back end of the second round. That's not what you. I don't think that's the case. I think he's genuinely fourth in the pecking order at the moment, and that would really
well,
worry
you
me.
hope he
And
gets
that's
here
not to say he won't
because
be
you've
moving
got,
up a lot, but
well, he's got
I'm
Herbert,
told
which is
there.
not bad. Back, you've got Pierce as well,
Yeah, not a
and
fan
Ty
of Herbert
Chandler.
at all.
So,
Never have been. Chandler should do fine, get his touches. Pierce should do. I think Pierce will be fine this year. I really do. And he's added Jordan Mason in there as well, who is currently the number 2 in San Francisco. Well, in fact, he might be the number 1 in San Francisco right now because CMC's injured, isn't he?
I know, he must have picked him up pretty late. Oh, yeah, he got him with the last
And
pick.
Mitchell,
That was his. Mr. Relevant was Jordan Mason. Obviously, he got that
yeah.
after the news of McCaffrey.
So I mean, I don't hate the
No, well, but you feed the kids, and the dog definitely
and
wants
the
fed.
and the dog more to the point.
Yeah,
I don't hate Jackson's team. There are a lot of good things in it, but there's a lot of things that I'm not a fan of in it. So I'm not jumping up and down about it. I've got to say. And my favourite team in this league is Carlton Crew again. It has to for me. That's just been put together so well.
try to think.
So I'm after Carlton Crew here, please, Johnny.
I'm trying to think who I'm going to go for.
As I say, just with Jackson's team, it's the whole a couple of guys that I'm just not a fan of, and it puts me off. Perfectly fine
Yeah,
team though.
I'll probably agree with you too there, actually. I do like Carlton Crew. And unlike Pez, you can go for the same team because you're picking who you think is going to win. But I do
Yeah.
also like the Manchester Bees. But Carter proved
What's your
us.
team in St Magnus division? What's your favourite here?
Leeds Lassos is probably my favorite team on that.
You like the Leeds Lassos one? There you go, Johnny. You taking notes?
Yeah, I'm typing it in now.
They're up against Dublin Everton Blues. Yeah, I did like that team as well. I've got to say that was one that I liked. I liked the look of a lot as well.
The thing,
Defending champion.
like I look at, like, I know, like, your first 5 picks are going to be the people you want to score the most of your points because the way people draft, you know. So I mean, I think like he got good receivers, good running backs, and a quarterback, and then I forgot what his tight end was. Let me see.
He's got Dallas Goddard. Who are you talking about? Dublin Everton Blues?
No, Leeds
Or who are you
Lassos.
talking about? Leeds Lassos. He's
Do you know what
got. He's only got one tight end. The move.
And then he just
thing
streamed one
about
during the
this?
bye week.
Yeah.
This is Division One. You know, this is the top. What was it? The top three in each. You know, in each division in the East last year. So you know these guys were the top teams from last year. So you expect them all to be kind of there. And you know, for me, you know, there's no one that's got 3 quarterbacks. There's no one that's got 6 defenders. You know, there's no one that's done anything really stupid here at all. It's
No,
just
that's in the
you
later
know.
divisions.
And at that point, it's all about opinion on what players you like and what players you don't. You know, and of course, I've got players that I like and players that I don't like, and it's my opinion is going to be completely different from others. You know, so I think this
This is going
division
to
will
be
be very, very tight.
yeah, it's going to be a very
No,
close one. Like because Graham's good as well. They're all good. That's why they're in the top division. But
I wouldn't like to. I wouldn't like to try and pick the bottom team of this division. You know, who'll finish last. I wouldn't like to try and do that because I think all of these teams. There's no one that jumps out at me as that was stupid. We're going to come
no,
across a team that has 4 quarterbacks in it, you know. So I think it's safe to say that I'm not going to pick that as my favourite team in that division. But
I think as Jack said,
anyway,
this is probably one of the hardest leagues he drafted in. Somewhere in the chat.
yeah, I mean, I'm sure because it's yeah, the teams all do look decent here, and again, a lot of them come into injuries and stuff like that as well. Obviously, you know. Yeah, there you go. It's not. It's a top. You're drafting against the league winners and the top teams from last year, though. You know, so it's going to be a difficult one to pick. You know.
But you are in the top division, so you have the chance of the Scar break. So
Right, Johnny. Let's
you're
move
on
on
there.
to the next one.